Jazz Jennings has been a vocal advocate for transgender kids ever since she first spoke to Barbara Walters more than 10 years ago. And each step of the way, she's allowed us to document her process from socializing to pausing puberty. And now the ultimate step of gender confirmation surgery.
It was like a dream. This is a moment that I had always envisioned.
It's a dream she's had for as long as she can remember.
What happens in the good fairy dream?
So when I was 2 years old, I went up to my mom and asked her, when is the good fairy gonna come with her magic wand and change my penis into a vagina?
You were 2.
Yeah.
For the now 18-year-old Jazz Jennings, that dream is about to become a reality.
This is something I've always known that I wanted.
Jazz, right up here, Jazz.
Jazz is arguably the most famous transgender teen in the country, carrying the torch on behalf of trans kids' rights for the last decade. Her work recognized from GLAAD to the Human Rights Campaign.
The hatred, cruelty, bullying, rejection, and discrimination must stop.
Known for her relentless advocacy from gender-neutral bathrooms to integrating school sports, she's tackled some of the most divisive issues head-on.
You've been so public about your entire path. Does that make it easier or harder to be a trans teen, do you think?
It just depends, I guess. I think for me, I've always been so honest about who I am as a person, and being transgender, I feel like it's something that I couldn't hide no matter what. There's my stretcher.
She's about to undergo her gender confirmation surgery,
I would say this is the final step of transitioning.
a procedure that, in her case, essentially refashions male genitalia into the female equivalent.
Thank you. This is really the last thing that will validate my identity as a woman. There's nothing else after this. I just get to be myself, be in the body that I've always wanted, and then I can live my life as just Jazz.
And so what do you look forward to the most the moment you wake up from the surgery?
I think just looking at my vagina for the first time, it's gonna be like a new birth, you know?
What do you say to your critics who would argue it's TMI? I don't need this much information about bottom surgery.
Yeah, it is personal and uncomfortable for some individuals, but how are we gonna learn if someone doesn't step up to the plate and share their story?
It's been a long and winding road, one we've documented for more than a decade.
Hi. Can I come in your house?
Yes.
The Jennings first opened up to Barbara Walters back in 2007.
Your child was born a boy, and now you call him a girl. Yes?
Yes.
At the time, Jazz was just 6 years old, one of the youngest documented cases of a child transitioning from male to female.
If people say to you, are you a boy or a girl? What do you say?
A girl.
The Jennings, who have 3 older kids, faced backlash for allowing Jazz at such a young age to present publicly as trans. More than 10 years later, it's something they still find themselves defending.
You've had to put up with a lot of withering criticism. What, after all these years, do you say to people who still have those doubts?
I'd rather have a living daughter than a dead son. And I know that if I didn't let this child be who she wanted to be, there's a good chance she wouldn't be with us today.
There are some people who will forever think, well, maybe her parents brainwashed her. Maybe she was too young to know. Maybe.
I really, really hate it. This was all me. This is how I felt. They just embraced and loved me for who I was.
Over the years, we've checked in with Jazz, that precocious little girl who grew into a confident preteen, navigating the awkward middle school years.
I don't care what he thinks about me. If it's bad, if it's good, then I love him, so yeah.
But with adolescence looming, Jazz, along with her parents, decided to use blockers to medically pause male puberty.
They block any facial hair I might get or armpit hair, maybe, like just so I don't look like a boy, or even getting a deep voice also.
Then, on the verge of high school, the female hormone.
So this is the estrogen pill that I take. I start getting breasts, softer features, you know, everything more feminine, and it's what I've always wanted.
She calls it a life-saving pill.
I have no regrets because it allowed me to prevent myself from going through male puberty. I feel like that's why my dysphoria hasn't been so bad, is because I look in the mirror and I see the girl that I am on the inside, but not every transgender person has the opportunity to do that.
Push yourself.
She's also been open about her struggles, her binge eating, coping with anxiety, depression.
I knew that my weight was a problem, but I didn't realize that it could affect something that I've been waiting for my entire life.
All
Why do they
documented in her
decline you if your
award-winning
BMI is too
TLC
high?
reality show, I Am Jazz.
So happy and excited.
In the upcoming 5th season, cameras capturing the final steps of her transition, one that involved overcoming obstacles.
It's been hard, you know. I've had to do a lot of things to prepare for this surgery. I had to lose 30 pounds, and that was really, really challenging because I had an addiction to food, and it was something that gave me comfort, and I had to let that go because this surgery is so much more important to me than any slice of cake or pizza.
But that surgery would be complicated because of those hormone blockers, the same ones, Jazz says, helped save her life.
Being on the blockers is something that I don't regret at all. The only, downside to it was that I didn't have enough growth down below, so there wasn't enough tissue to work with when it came to the surgery, and it was very challenging to find a doctor, a surgeon, who was willing to perform the operation on me just because I'm such a difficult case.
Jazz and her family sought a brand new, groundbreaking technique.
They're using the tissue I have, the peritoneum. I say it's going to be like a patchwork vagina, a Franken vagina. So yeah, as long as it's functional, that's all that matters.
As Jazz makes her way into that life-changing surgery, she hopes that if successful, it'll pave the way for the next generation of trans girls seeking the same procedure.
Is there one thing you're most looking forward to after the surgery?
Wearing leggings. Love you. Love you.
With a team of 3 surgeons, the surgery lasting almost 5 hours.
We have news. We have news.
Yes.
It's a girl!
It's a girl!
Her parents right there throughout.
It's a girl.
I love you so much.
I woke up the morning of the surgery, and I don't think I've ever been that happy in my entire life. It was just like pure positive energy.
How are you feeling?
It's been 9 weeks since Jazz's surgery, and we head to Florida to visit her at home.
It's just a little something.
So nice of you to do that.
Oh, really?
Leggings.
Oh my gosh.
While she's now on her way to a full recovery, getting there has not been easy.
And it was a complication. I had to go back in for another procedure, but it was just all part of the journey. The good thing, though, is that it was only cosmetic and external, so it wasn't too dramatic.
Your life was never in danger.
No, my life wasn't in danger.
Through the ups and downs, Jazz's parents have been a constant source of support.
This is the big award that we got for the show.
She was the Grand Marshals at the New York City Pride Parade.
So these hold a point of pride in your home.
Yes, yes. One of the proudest days ever is when a president tells your 14-year-old that they're proud of her.
The one thing we learned early about Jazz was that she was very articulate, and that we just determined that it was really difficult to not share her with the world.
In many ways, she's still that girl we first met a decade ago. But now at 18, the trans child advocate to trans adult, tackling the harsh realities in her community, discrimination in the workplace, unemployment, homelessness, even higher rates of murder.
Do you see yourself continuing to, carry the banner for trans rights?
More and more, I'm thinking about just continuing my advocacy. My passion is reinvigorated, not just for trans rights, but for equality for everyone. And if we could just embrace the variety of who we are and all of our differences and come together with new ideas and ways of thinking, then I think this world can be a beautiful place.
Oh, little corner in my own little chair.
For a girl who sang about Cinderella,
Whatever I want to be, on the wings of my fancy.
Jazz is one step closer to that fairy tale ending.
The world will open its arms to me.
The newest season of I Am Jazz premieres January 1st on TLC.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.